the Miniaturist. Welcome, and I hope wherever you're joining from, you're having a good day so far. Just wanted to get through some housekeeping before we move on to the Open Studio series, which I'm so excited to be introducing today. First on the agenda for housekeeping is, if you don't know already, the Biggest Little Christmas Showdown is premiering this Friday. It is the first commercial television program that will spotlight miniatures, at least the first one that I know about. So look for it. We're going to put a link in the chat box to a preview of it. It's a 5-minute preview that was put on by, it's going to be on the HGTV network. Yours truly is going to be on the show, so you got to see it. But like I said, it's the first time miniatures will be spotlit in a commercial way, and it was a great experience to be part of the program, and I just want to tell everybody to watch it. And actually, before I even go on, I just want to introduce Donald Morcone. Donald is helping us with the technology. He's behind the screen right now. He's behind the scene right now, not behind the screen. So just give a shout out to Donald. He's an enormous help in everything I do with D. Thomas Miniatures, and I so appreciate everything he does. And he's on right now helping us guide us through this Open Studio series, because there's a lot of behind the scenes technology that needs to happen, a lot of jiggering with the buttons. So thank you, Donald. And he'll be in the chat box if you have any questions. He's also going to be monitoring the chat box for our Meet the Miniaturist today. A couple of other things. I do a webinar called on the history of miniatures. It's a paid for event. The next one I'm hosting is this weekend on Sunday. We'll also put that in the chat box, which is a link to the Facebook event. The event itself will actually be on Zoom, but I'm asking folks to go and register through Facebook for this event. So look for that. It's basically history of miniatures. I'm going to take folks through ancient times all the way up to modern times. If you're thrilled about miniatures, which I think we all are, this gives you a bigger perspective on miniatures and how it's become sort of a pop culture phenomenon. So it's fun for me to do, and I love when folks register and join, because it's just a great hour. Finally, well, two things. If you like this Meet the Miniaturist series, please go ahead and contribute to its ongoing development. We're going to put that in the box as well, in the chat box, a link to, if you want to contribute to these events, to these free events, by the way. It would be great to get a contribution, and I'm still working on details on how I can thank you guys, because we have been getting really nice contributions, which really helps keep this going. So look for that in the chat box. And then finally, I have a whole host of Meet the Miniaturist shows coming up on different themes. So definitely sign up for updates through my website so that you know what's going on. I have a special Christmas edition of Meet the Miniaturist. We're heading over to a museum. I can't tell you the name of the museum yet, but we're going to see all the Christmas museum miniatures from this one, which I'm still working on the details. That's why I can't tell you the name. We're also doing a special Meet the Decorator and also Meet the Renovator. So lots of Meet the Miniaturist coming up. Look for them through my emails, and then definitely check the chat box for links to all these other things. So with that, I am going to introduce the folks who are joining us for this Open Studio event, which is exciting, exciting, exciting. This is an opportunity not only to meet the miniaturists, but also be in their studios while they're working. This is just thrilling for me, because I love the process as well as the miniatures. So we have a couple of really awesome miniaturists with us today who are going to be sharing their studios with us, sharing their work with us, getting to answer questions that we might have about their work, and maybe even getting a little bit of a tip and a trick here and there. So the first one up is Kraig Councell, and then we're going to have Kate Santagen after her, and then I'm going to share a little bit of my own work studio, which you can see I'm in my studio right now. But let's get right to it and welcome Kraig to our Open Studio series. Hi, Kraig.
Hi, Gary. Thank you so much, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here.
So great to have you. Yes, tell us a little bit about yourself, Kraig.
I have been in miniatures just a little over 5 years. And started as a child, always fascinated with the old movies growing up, as far as the old scenes and so forth that they used to create, and was always fascinated with that. Throughout the years, got into scale model building, and For a period of time, I got into stained glass, did stained glass for about 10 years.
That's right.
Due to moving the space that it required to do,
Yeah.
just wasn't able to do any longer. And so for a period of time, I just really didn't have a hobby. And so I got back into model building and came across this first kit that I had purchased, and I wanted to do a casket spray for it. And that is the floral accent that goes on top of. And to make it 100% complete, I made the casket spray.
So
and that's
the
kind
casket
of what got
spray. So the casket spray was your first floral miniature. And by the way, so everybody knows, you're a miniaturist who works with florals. And when we first spoke, I didn't even know what a casket spray was. And I'm like, oh my gosh. So that was your first miniature, was a floral, a casket spray.
Correct. And then it all just kind of grew from there. And, it just became one of those things where I just started challenging myself.
Yeah.
Hey, how can I do this? And how can I do that? And a lot of trial and a lot of error. And so 5 years later, here we are.
So you've been doing miniature florals for 5 years, and that's flowers and plants. And like you said, funeral sprays, which is really, really fascinating. I mean, this is another topic, but talk a little bit about who might want one of those and why they might want that. I
had
obvious, but
a number of people in the scale model portion of what we do that wanted to add to existing pieces that they had maybe already had made. And so I was supplying to those individuals with those.
But were they really dollhouse miniature collectors, or we're talking about folks who had built scale models?
Scale models.
Scale models. But not dollhouse collectors. We're not talking about dollhouse collectors, right?
That is correct. Yes.
That's awesome. Because I think as just a collector, I mean, I think that would be kind of a fascinating thing to have made. I mean, just to commemorate. I mean, I think a lot of folks who are into miniatures like to sort of zoom in on a special occasion or a special event and have that forever. So that's awesome. So 5 years. 5 years in making miniatures, and I know you sell them as well, right? And we're gonna put a link in the chat box so people can find you. But so tell us a little bit about your process. So what makes you decide to do the next flower or the next plant? Like, where does that come from?
A lot of it's a personal challenge, and I might see something and think, how can I recreate this? And it's just a lot of, going out into some of the arboretums that there are, some of the home tours that you can go to with gardens, wonderful places not too far from here that you can go to. A lot of inspiration from those places. And so I get ideas in my mind.
So actually, I see that in the chat box. I know we're going to get to see some of his work. I promise. We're just going to we're laying down the framework here. So give me an example of something that you might stumble upon. Let's say it's an open house tour. Is that what you're saying? You go on tours to see the beautiful homes. I love going on those, by the way. And so you'll see. Give me an example of something you've seen in one of these homes, and you come back home and reproduce it in miniature.
Correct. One of the places that I go to has a wonderful boxwood garden. And so really got me fascinated with how to recreate boxwood gardens. And so incorporating stonework, just really pressing myself as far as how to achieve the next level.
So we're not talking about only a single piece, although you do single pieces. You would create entire gardens?
Yes.
With stonework and walls?
Yes.
That is fantastic. That is fantastic.
Yeah.
So why don't we get to it? Can we see some of your work? And is there anything you're in progress? Is anything in progress that we could see?
Well, today I had went ahead and started, since we're getting so close to Christmas,
Yes.
I have been working on poinsettias. And so today I just went ahead and I made a small poinsettia that I just thought I would show. I don't know. Well,
Awesome.
you can see that.
That is
But just
awesome.
a single bloom.
So how many individual petals are there that make up that poinsettia?
There's actually 9 in the flower itself, plus the leaves.
9 in the leaf. And is it, what is the material that you use mostly?
I use a lot of the silk papers, and a lot of the people that do work with flowers or making flowers already know about that. But
paper.
there is, I don't know how well this can come out in the picture, but
it's hard to see, but I'm assuming there's texture. Is that what you're showing, is texture?
Correct.
Right.
Yes. And then there is a rice paper. This is a double-sided rice paper, and this is a smooth paper. So all of your petals are going to have a texture to them. So you need something that's going to be flat. And also, something really fun is a lot of your artisan papers. You know, get out there and try some of these tracing papers and items like that. You know, those are really fun to work with.
So I would imagine the texture is important, the weight of the paper is important, what the transparency of the paper might be really important. What are some of the things that you might look for? And I bet you it's different for every flower, right?
It is. It is. It's endless.
It's endless.
Endless.
So do you have an endless supply of papers that you work with?
Yes, I do.
And again, it goes back to this whole thing that you were talking about with this trial and error, which is you try and then you keep getting until you get it right, until you're happy with it, I bet.
Correct. Yes. Yes. Yep.
So
you got it.
Why don't we take a second and see if there are any questions that have come through? I know that there was one person was wondering whether or not we could make Kraig's image bigger, but I think it's up to you. You can click on him if you want to see him enlarged, if that's right. Is that right, Donald? I think so. So let us know if you have any questions for Kraig. So on the poinsettias, I just want to let everybody know that we worked together a few years ago and you created those beautiful poinsettias for Nibblewick Hall. And if you guys know about Nibblewick Hall, that is that fantastical dollhouse that's on permanent view at the Hudson River Museum in Yonkers, New York. So it's like my backyard.
So Darren and Kraig, we have a few questions.
Okay.
First question is, Kraig, one of our attendees would like to know, where are you located?
I'm in Newark, Ohio. We are just east of Columbus, about 20 miles, so not too far.
Okay. And then Dale Dodds would like to know, what type of glue and adhesives do you prefer for your flowers?
Oh, that's a good one. Also, I use all sorts of different glues. Sobo is one of my favorite. It's really my go-to.
Sobo fabric? Is that a fabric glue?
Sobo. I'll show you right here. This is.
Yeah, I thought.
This is Sobo.
Nice. Is that more of a water-based? Is that more of a water-based glue, like a watery, like almost like Elmer's?
Yep, absolutely is. And kind of one thing really nice with it is, as you're making flowers, you can add different colored paints to it.
Oh, what's that?
And so as you're gluing, you can. That really helps a lot as far as.
So you have like a layering process to layer on the shades as you're working, but super thin.
Yes.
Wow.
Yep.
That's fantastic. That is fantastic.
Yep.
Do you have any other pieces around that we can see? Any of you also more? Do you have any more of your work that might be around that we can see?
Unfortunately, no, I don't.
No more work.
Everything I make hits the door.
It's gone.
Homes.
So the poinsettia is the work in progress, right?
That is correct. Yeah.
So you do. So you take commissions, right? You take.
Yeah, I do commissions.
Awesome.
Yeah. I have been working since midsummer on a number of commissions, and really just finishing up for the year, getting ready to do Chicago this coming spring. And so I'll be devoting all of December, January, February, March into April to prepare for that show.
Awesome. We hear your little one in the background.
Yeah.
We got a question. We have a question from Nicole. She's wondering, how long does it take you to finish a piece? Which is a good question.
Depending on the flower itself, I have things down to a virtual science as far as when making something. And so a lot of time goes into prep, and then say for instance, an iris, three iris in a little grouping. I can do that probably in about 3 hours.
Okay. Yeah. Is there an absolute favorite flower that you love to make, or is it always different?
You know, right now it's really a toss-up. Roses, I'm really into roses right now, and so I just, you know, it's probably one of my favorites.
Okay. A couple of other questions I see. Do you use? Someone wants to know if you use punches. Do you use punches?
I do use punches. Sometimes with punches, here's a punch, for instance.
Yep.
Um,
So describe what a punch is used for, because not everybody might know.
No, what's that?
What does a punch get used for? Because not everyone might know.
This gets you a basic shape. They do come in all sorts of different styles, and so like this one, for instance, is a leaf punch.
Yeah.
As you work with flowers, you may have a shape that's close to the shape that you want, and then you can take an X-Acto blade and you can finish cutting it out how you want it to look.
Yeah.
That's kind of a neat idea. And so kind of one thing with punches, right now I've got a little over 300 of these.
Just a small sampling of punches.
Yeah. My mentor, Carol Dime, out of Columbus, Ohio. I worked with her for a while before she passed away, and I was fortunate enough to acquire all of the punches that she had, and so it was, you know.
All right, awesome. Nice. Somebody had a question about the Chicago show. I guess not everybody knows what the Chicago show is about. So tell us a little bit about Chicago.
Chicago International. This 2020 would have been my 3rd year doing Chicago. So hopefully coming this next year, this will mark my 3rd year in doing it as far as the best miniature show in the world, as far as I'm concerned.
Yeah.
You know, if you've never been there, you've got to go. It's a bucket list thing. You've got to go.
I agree. It is. I agree. It's one of the best shows in the United States. It happens around the spring, April time period, right? In Chicago. Yep. It's very well attended. It's very well, some of the best miniatures on the planet are there. So you really do need to be there. So yeah, so that's Chicago. Let's see if we have any more questions before we have to say goodbye to Kraig. And let's see.
Aaron, there is a question. Kraig, do you only use paper, or have you tried cold porcelain or polymer clay?
I've never used clay or porcelain yet. You know, there's always down the road. There's always room to expand and learn different things. So not right at this time.
Yeah, I mean, I would imagine, just like anything, if you say there's a learning process, just working in paper, to move to a brand new material is a whole new beginning, I would imagine. Yeah. And it's also a whole different look, feeling, and flavor when you're working in a whole nother material. It doesn't take away from a paper flower or a cold porcelain flower. It's just gonna be different. It's like working with acrylics and then moving to oils. It's just different, but you end up with a beautiful piece of art. So I can't imagine, like, oh yeah, I'm gonna try that tomorrow. I mean, it's not gonna work that way. Yeah.
Another fun medium to work with, and that's alcohol inks. This, you can get a whole myriad of different colors with, as far as mixing and so forth, and so that's really fun to work with also.
And what is the biggest difference working with alcohol inks versus, let's say, acrylics?
To me, alcohol inks, I think you can get more of a variety of colors, you know, incorporated instead of just a solid color of blue or pink. You know, you can get all sorts of different shades, and shading is very important.
Awesome. Awesome. Kraig, this has been fantastic. I could spend a whole nother hour with you. So
Wonderful. Thank you.
We're going to put the information on how folks can find you in the chat box. And in the meantime, we're going to bring Miss Kate Santagen up, and we're going to chat with her for a little while. I'm going to say so long to Kraig for now. And you guys can just click on the image that you want to see. And hi, Kate.
Hi.
Welcome, welcome, welcome.
Thank you.
Kate, tell us a little bit about yourself.
So I live in Brooklyn, New York with my very adorable rescue pup. And I have been making minis since I was probably 12-ish. I got a dollhouse for my birthday one year. I had asked for a dollhouse for years and years and kept being told that I would grow out of it, that I wouldn't be interested in it very long. And 2 years ago, I just redid the house inside and out. So joke's on them.
I love it. I love it. I think that's a similar story where people didn't get something and then they had to have it later on in life. So I totally get it.
I think I was 12 or so when I finally got it, and I was still considered too old for it all.
I love it. Well, I'm glad you are doing what you want to do, because that's what this is about. This is about doing what makes you happy. And I'm so glad you're doing what makes you happy. And I'm so glad I found you. That, you know, I found you online. I'm like, oh my God, this girl's so good. And I know we're going to get into more of the interior design stuff that you do and the refurbishing. But there is one Metro card, and I wish I was going to share my screen, but there's your mini Metro card that just struck an emotional chord.
It did. My mini Metro card.
Yeah.
And it was actually featured on the MTA page. So the MTA is the Transit Authority for New York City.
New York, right.
And so it's just such a New York girl dream come true to have my Metro card be shared by them.
So this was a tiny Metro card. But there also, the photograph was awesome. Where did you photograph that? In this train station?
Yeah, I did. I was on my way to work and I took several pictures of it in the AC station at High Street here in Brooklyn Heights. And I like to take pictures of my minis in places that make sense. I had a little ranch bottle that I took a picture of with my refrigerator door open.
I love it.
You know, a little takeout box of Chinese food that I took a picture of in front of my sink that was overflowing with dirty dishes. So I like to play with the fact that they're very small items and put them in, you know, full-size situations.
Yeah, well, all of these images are on your Instagram account, which is the Tiny Craftress, right? All
Yes.
underline. Is that the link that we're going to share?
Yes, please. Yes.
Okay, so we're going to share the link. I mean, not only does she make awesome minis, you do photograph these beautifully and engagingly. You know? So go look at Kate's Instagram account, because it really does, like, it showcases her minis in great ways and it touches your heart. So, but I want to go back to, you know, why do you choose some of these miniatures that you make? I mean, actually, take a step back. You're a collector and you're a maker.
Yes,
So,
absolutely.
like the little bottle of ranch, you made the Metro card, but did you make the bottle of ranch? Like,
No, so I made the Metro card and then I bought the little bottle of ranch at Tiny Dollhouse NYC,
okay.
which is here in New York on the Upper East Side, and it's one of my favorite places to get really unique things.
Yeah, they are. He has an awesome selection of miniatures. We should
Yeah.
do a whole Zoominar on Tiny Dollhouse.
You should.
So
really
you're a
should.
collector. People should know that you're a collector, but they should also know that you're a maker as well. But there are specifically you're a maker in this. Tell us a little bit about the kinds of miniatures, especially around decorating and interiors and refurbishing, because I think you really have a knack there for, like, I don't know what you call it. Is it like, what do you call it when you go from one piece to another? There's a word you use.
I think it's
Fab to fab, right?
makeover or
Makeover.
upcycling. Yeah.
Upcycling. So you
Yeah.
upcycle and you kind of embellish existing pieces.
Sure. Yes.
Okay. With an artistic interior design, like
Yeah.
thought.
So I would say that all of my work is pretty focused on being modern. I'm not really interested in making or collecting things from other time periods, unless I'm doing something that's sort of intentionally whimsical or anachronistic. So all of my stuff is pretty modern. I do weird and unusual things like this tiny IKEA bag,
Oh, I love that.
purses, and food. But one of the things that I've been doing lately is buying old, ugly dollhouse furniture
Yeah.
on eBay, on Facebook groups, and then, upcycling it in different ways. So here are two pieces that are identical, and then I finished them
Oh,
in different ways.
I love
So
it.
both,
I see even the knobs you replace, right?
yeah.
What are those little studs? What are they?
Yeah, they're little knobs. These ones are little crystals.
Oh, I love
These
it.
ones are just white enamel from miniatures.com.
Oh,
This is just some scrapbook paper.
yep.
This is dollhouse specific wallpaper that um, like real wallpaper. It has that texture to it.
Like a flock? Like a
Yeah, exactly,
Ooh,
exactly.
that sounds interesting.
And then, I paint the pieces obviously, but they started off in that, you can see on the underside here, it started off in that
Yeah,
brown
that
stain.
awful staining that they do.
Yeah.
I know.
Um,
Strip that down before you paint it. You just go right over the stain.
I use, in the nature of tips and tricks, I use something like this first. I use Liquitex first. So I'll use some kind of prep on the outside, and then I'll do 2 coats.
So it's like a primer. And then
Yeah, so that I use this as my primer, and then this is both just 2 coats of Martha Stewart acrylic paint from Michaels.
right. And so what inspires you? I mean, I know you have, it's a very contemporary look. What are some of your go-to, like, what do you read? Oh, I love that little bench. We should bring that bench up. I love that.
So this again is wallpaper, and then storage, and it's just something that I painted and made sure that the paper fit in there nicely.
Yeah, I love it. So where are you getting your inspiration from? Like, so what are your go-to sources in terms of style, magazines, images?
I spend a lot of time on Pinterest.
Pinterest.
I also really just, looking at places like West Elm and
You love it.
checking out different furniture places for full-size furniture, mind you,
Right.
online. And then also just seeing a piece and, like this piece, when it was the brown color, I just, was big and imposing and just didn't feel like fresh. And so, I just
Really good
will look at
wording.
something, and if it feels like it just felt too severe, I think, for a miniature setting, at least one that I would like to live in. So sometimes it's the piece itself,
Yeah.
when I look at a piece, and then, I'll see what I would like it to be. This is another one of those pieces that was brown, and then this is full-size wallpaper. I find samples online and buy them for like 99 cents or $2 a piece.
Yeah.
And
it's appropriately scaled. So you found like a part of that wallpaper that you could use?
yeah, so I'll buy maybe 3 or 4 sheets so that I get one that like nicely will line up and look nice.
I love the bold choice of using black. It's really, really cool.
Yeah, and using some unusual colors and that sort of thing.
Definitely.
Another piece is this
Ooh.
chest. So you can see this is the brown color that it was
Yes.
originally. And then I just saw it, and the way that this molding is up here, I just knew that it needed to be an apothecary shelf. And so,
That's fantastic. I'm so glad you showed that because
yeah.
one of my favorite images of yours on Instagram. So why don't we just see if there are any questions before I
Yes.
continue to ask?
Okay, we do have a few questions. First, there was a shout out for your gypsy wagon.
Oh, yes.
So we have a lover of your gypsy wagon. We do have a question. Do you brush paint or spray paint?
So I have done both. All of these pieces that are up here, though, are brush paint.
Okay. And then what do you coat your lottery tickets with? What kind of a sealer or a...
What?
Ooh, that one I'm not going to share.
Okay.
Wait,
If
I
you
don't
want
even know. What lottery tickets? What's that mean?
If you want those lottery tickets, you can slide into my DMs.
Okay.
You can come buy them. I'm not telling.
Lost.
So in terms of buying, we also, several people want to know, where do you sell?
I sell right now through Instagram, and I am working on an Etsy shop that is almost ready. I was going to try to get it ready for today, but I failed because I went to brunch and was day drinking yesterday. So here is one of my
I don't think I've ever seen that.
itty bitty lottery tickets.
Oh my goodness, that's fabulous.
And so shout out to the state of Pennsylvania for putting all of their lottery tickets naked online so that all I had to do was cover them. And then,
Oh my God, you really scratch it and it,
oh yeah,
oh no,
oh yeah.
oh no. You're killing me. Oh my God.
It's hard to do when I'm not on a flat surface, but yes.
Oh man. Oh, so the secret is what you use to coat it so that it's able to be scratched off.
Yes.
I love it.
Not telling.
Mazel tov. That's beautiful. I love it. I've never seen that. Is that on your Instagram?
It is on my Instagram, and it was also, I believe it was shared by Daily Mini as well, who's a
Is it
mutual friend of
video?
ours.
Is
What was that?
Is it as a video, like you're scratching it off?
It's as a video. Mhm.
I might be sharing that if you don't mind.
Please.
Well, you know what? We'll talk offline, but when you're ready to launch your Etsy, I'm happy to promote.
Thank you.
All right. Anybody else on some other questions for Kate? I know I have questions for Kate. What are some of your favorite tools? What do you must have, can't live without?
My must-have can't. Hi, puppy. Oh,
Aw.
my studio assistant is.
Hello. Oh, out of the shot.
Yeah,
She
he's like,
ran
no.
away.
Yeah, I don't want any of that. So I hate math, and I didn't realize that I probably should have paid attention a little bit better in that department. So when somebody says that something is like 3/16 of an inch, I'm like, what are they talking about? So I have this that allows me to change the you know, the measurement, whether it's, you know, millimeters or inches, and I can measure that way. So I can find my little, you know, when I'm shopping for something online, you know, and I'm like, how big is 2 millimeters? Or, you know, I can.
I am very impressed that you have a caliper and you know how to use it.
Well, I mean, I don't know how to use this ruler behind me, but I know how to use this.
Oh, wow. That's awesome. So that is your go-to tool. That's really
Yeah.
cool.
That's my current go-to tool. I mean, I've got a lot of favorite things. Other favorite thing would be my Dremel.
Oh, can't live without the Dremel.
Can't live without the Dremel, especially when I'm trying to create in small spaces.
Awesome. 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 So what's next for you? So you've got an Etsy shop that you're working on getting going, which is great. We can't wait to see that. What are some of the projects that are in the back of your head? I know every miniaturist has like at least a dozen things they want to do.
I have so many things in the back of my head.
Give me one that you think you're actually going to get to.
Oh, I am very organized, and I will get to them.
You will. Oh, I'm so doubly impressed. Caliper and organized. It doesn't get better than that.
Yeah. So I would have liked to. Normally, I have things made weeks in advance, and I have my Instagram set up so that all I have to do is wake up and at 9:30 hit post, because the post is already there. But I have been working. I've been working in news since August, and obviously with the U.S. election, I have not really done much mini making in the last several months.
Job. That makes sense.
Yeah, I have a day job. Yeah. So gotta catch up again, but definitely a lot of purses. I have some really cool.
Right. So that's new for you. You were telling me you've got purses in that you're working on?
Yeah, so I did purses once before, and I sold all of them just through direct messages on Instagram. And so I've got these cool colors of this is real leather, and then I also have some vegan leather because
Ooh.
not everybody likes the leather. So
Uh-huh. Wow, that's awesome. I've never heard of that, a vegan leather handbag in
yeah,
miniature.
in miniature, yeah, for for Lizzo or for all the F's you have to give, or
Yeah.
whatever your pills, whatever you want to put in there.
All right, great. So will we see you maybe one day at a Chicago show or something like that? At a-
I I don't know. I mean, the selling has really happened organically.
yeah,
Um, and so, if it continues to be well received,
yeah.
perhaps someday, but maybe much more likely, I think, would be like something like Philly first,
Okay,
because
that's fair.
a
That's
little
fair.
closer, can drive there,
No pressure, no pressure.
a little less pressure than Chicago. Yeah.
That's great. All right, do we have any other questions for Kate before we let her go?
Aaron, we do have a special shout out. Kathleen Wilbur wants to let you know that she really appreciates your support of Black Lives Matter on your page.
Oh, thank you.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, I do some mini activism
Yeah.
on there as well. I didn't start out making minis thinking that it was an art form, and then in the past year that I've been posting on Instagram, I really started to see it
Yeah.
see it as an art form, just as painting would be, or sculpture, or what have you.
Yeah. Well, we might have to have you back because I'm working on a We Resist special edition of Meet the Miniaturist to
I
focus
used
in on those little mini activists.
that
What they're up to.
hashtag. I made mini protest signs, Black
Love
Lives Matter protest signs that I put all over Brooklyn Heights and Dumbo.
Love it.
And I used the We Resist hashtag.
I love it. We might have you back, so stay tuned
Okay.
because we want to see kind of that work. And I agree with you. Miniatures is an art form and it needs to be expressed that way. And more people need to see it that way. And so, yeah, I mean, I love what you're doing too. I think it's really zooming in. I love that you're young and you're doing this because that also creates it dispels a whole nother myth about, the age and the demographic of people who are making miniatures like you.
Sure.
So I'm so excited. I'm so excited that I got a chance to chat with you and we got to see your studio space. We got to see some of your work. We can't wait to see what's coming up for you and for more of what we're going to see. And I'm going to have to order one of those little IKEA bags for sure for myself.
I'll give you a discount.
Oh, okay. I know where to find you.
Yeah.
All right, so cool. And look, if you guys, need to find Kate, we have put the links in the chat box, and we'll move on to me for a little bit before we sign off for the night, because I'm going to share a little bit of my own studio space and what I'm working on for a few minutes. So thank you, Kate. And if Donald wouldn't sort of get me in on my my little studio table setup or whatever it's called, maybe I have to give myself access. I think that's what has to happen. So hold on. I'm going to start my video. Okay. Please hold. Stand by. You can see my face, right? Unmute.
I'm going to unmute them. Hold on. Okay. There we are. Can you hear me? Sorry about that technical difficulties. So, yeah, I mean, I wanted to wrap this up by just showing a little bit of my own workspace in case anybody was interested. I make some stuff from scratch, but sometimes I just buy a kit because I want that sort of immediate gratification of having it sort of started already. And I basically embellish the kits. So this is actually a kit from a company called Petite. Like, hold on, let me see. Oh yeah, they are. Hope you can see that. It's called Petite Properties. They're out of the UK, and they make some really, really well crafted I'm gonna fix this lighting a little bit. So hang on. They do some really well-crafted kits, laser cut kits, and this happens to be this cute little Georgian style dollhouse. And it comes in many pieces. And you can see the thing that I'm adding to this. I'm gonna do flooring. You can see I could put a little floor in there, but the most of what I'm doing in terms of my own spin is this this slate roof. I'm individually putting, oh God, hold on. You'll have to see this. Tiny slate tiles on each of layering them. I'm going to actually end up doing this side as well and this side as well. Yeah, this is sort of a dollhouse for a dollhouse. Thank you, Gail, for that comment. It is, it's tiny scale. It would be considered 144. But in 112 scale, this would be sort of like a dollhouse for a dollhouse. So it's, yeah, 12 times 12, 144. So, I mean, you don't have to be an artist to do something like this. I mean, I basically, I get these tiny little wood strips. Oh, and I don't have a sample of it, but anyway, there are these architectural, you can find them in a hobby store. They're basically strips of wood that are certain thicknesses and certain lengths. And I basically, I mix black and white together to make gray. It can't be easier than that. And I sit there with a knife and I cut the little slates in different sizes, and then I individually place them onto the roof. So this is a work in progress. Keeps me happy, keeps me sane. I'm not working on anything actually like from scratch right now. But I don't know. I mean, my dream is to eventually make my own full-scale Victorian secretary. That's my life's goal. We'll see if I ever get to it one day. But do you guys have any questions for me on this before we sort of wrap up our open studio event, which I'm so excited about? Anybody have any questions?
Darren, what are your favorite tools?
Oh, I can't hear you too well. Hold on. It's my volume. Go ahead.
Tell us your favorite tools.
Oh, good question. So I cannot live without my tweezer. I cannot live without toothpicks. I cannot live without toothpicks and Q-tips. I cannot live without X-Acto blade. But my favorite tool, sometimes I have tools that I almost never use, but I just like them because, and I think some of you might understand, but this like machinist, I don't know what it's called. It's not a leveler, it's a square. It's a perfect square. And it's really got a nice weight, and it helps to create an edge for pieces or to, help glue something together. But yeah, those are some of my favorite tools and things I cannot live without. I'm sort of looking around right now to see if there's anything else I have, but that's really it. I mean, I can't live without this or an X-Acto blade. I think that's it. What else? Anybody have any other questions?
And we also want to know, when is the next exhibition that you're going to curate?
The next exhibition of Very Tidy Studio. Thank you, Gail. I don't think it is that, but hi, Meg. Wait, so next exhibition of miniatures, like fine art miniatures?
Yes, like your We Resist and Badass. And
wow. I don't have anything right now in the works, but stay tuned because it's coming. If Donald, can you put me back up, because I'm gonna leave my studio.
Yes, and then also tell us about your work with the Hudson River Museum.
Yes. So how's it about later? I'm mute myself. Okay. Can you hear me?
So yeah, so I do a lot of work with the Hudson River Museum. I think some of you might be familiar with Nibblewick Hall, which is a fantastical 26-room mini mansion on permanent exhibition at the museum. And I work with the museum to decorate the house for the fall season, which includes Thanksgiving, and then for the holiday season, which includes Christmas. So 2 times a year I go in and I set up the house, actually Halloween, fall, and Thanksgiving, and then Christmas. And I work with miniaturists to create pieces to decorate the house. So can you guys see me? I'm not really sure because I can't see me.
We can see you.
Just want to make sure you're seeing me. I see me. Okay. So that's what I do with Nibble. Unfortunately, this year with COVID, the museum has had so many changes and they've been open sporadically. So we really didn't get a chance to do it. In fact, I mentioned before that Kraig Councell contributed to that one of the seasons a few years ago and make poinsettias. So that was pretty awesome. Any other questions, comments, feedback? Before we close off, I just want to remind you that the Biggest Little Christmas Showdown is going to start Friday this week. Big, we love that. And also, I love to hear from you. So I love feedback. I love to hear about what you're thinking, what you're enjoying. What do you want to see? Like I said, I'm working on a whole bunch of different angles for this Meet the Miniaturist series. So, what are things you want to see? What do you think we should cover? So in the meantime, I will sign off and say thank you for joining. And I want to thank Donald for the technology help. I want to thank Kate and I want to thank Kraig. It's been an awesome first open studio event and we will definitely be having more. So signing off for the night. Have a great night, everybody, and happy mini making.